Hi Royals, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Anne, and on here I inspire and encourage you to be all you're meant to be. In today's video, we are going to talk about how to know your self-worth and how important that is. I want to let you know your worth doesn't come from anything outside of you. Your worth doesn't come from the clothes you wear. Your worth does not come from the kind of car you drive. You get your worth out of any of those things. So we're going to look at what the Word of God says about us. We all have the same worth, just that most of us do not know. Our worth comes from within, and that is because we are created in the image of God. We are valuable and worthy as humans because we were created in the image of God. That is it. That is the beginning and the end of it. So let's look at what the Word of God says. So in Genesis chapter 1 verse 26, and I read, "And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth." That is it. That is the beginning and the end of where our self-worth and our value comes from. So don't allow anything or anybody to lie to you. Whether you get a job or not, nothing changes your self-worth. Don't believe the lies that the world throws at you that something outside of you decreases your self-worth. No, we are all valuable, and that is because our worth comes from being created in the image of God. Basing your self-worth and your accomplishments on the kind of car you drive, on the kind of social media following you have, and all of that will only leave you depressed and broken. So it is so important for us to know that our worth comes from within, and our worth comes from the fact that we are created in the image of God. So let's look at some of the importance of knowing your self-worth. Knowing your self-worth is so important because, one, it helps you to define what you deserve. Because when you don't know your self-worth, you will sell yourself short. There's this story I like to share with you, and I'll use it to explain this point. A dying father called his son over to his bedside and presented him with an old watch. He said, "Son, this is the watch your grandfather gave me, and it's more than 200 years old. Before I give it to you, I want you to go to the pawn shop and ask the owner how much he would pay for it." The son returns and says the pawn shop owner is willing to pay $20 because the watch is old and worn. The father responds, "Go to the watch shop and ask the watchmaker how much he would pay for it." The son returns and says the watchmaker is only willing to pay $10 because the watch is broken. The father responds, "Go to the museum and show the curator this watch." The son returns and is in shock. He said, "Father, the curator is willing to pay $1 million because this watch is a rare antique and they need it for their collection." Then listen to what the father said to the son. The father smiled and said, "The right people and the right place will always see your value. The right people and the right place will always see your value." So from this story, just imagine if the father did not know the particular worth of the watch, he might have agreed to sell it at $20 to the pawn shop. He might have agreed to sell it at $10 to the watchmaker. But because he knew the worth of the watch, he didn't back down. He kept trying. He kept trying until he met someone who saw the same value he sees in the watch. So guys, it is so important for you to know your self-worth. because it helps you to know what you deserve. It helps you not to sell yourself short. Knowing your self-worth is so important also because it helps you to be your authentic self. It helps you to be comfortable being yourself. And guys, don't worry, I'm going to make a video on how to be your authentic self. But I believe the basis to being your authentic self, to being your true self, is knowing your self-worth. It's so important because when you know that your worth comes from within and not outside, your worth doesn't come from anything outside of you. It helps you to be comfortable being yourself. It helps you to be comfortable showing up as the real you, your normal self in your relationship. It helps you to be comfortable showing up as yourself, just the way you are in every situation, in every interaction, because you know that irrespective of what people say about you, irrespective of whether people accept you for who you are or not, that does not affect your self-worth. When you know your self-worth, you don't present a false image to others, because you know that whether others accept you or not, your worth comes from within. That does not affect your self-worth in any way. So I believe that's one of the importance of knowing your self-worth. You have to remember the way you treat yourself is how others treat you. So when you know your self-worth and you know that it comes from within, it comes from the fact that you are created in the image of God and after the likeness of God, it helps improve your relationship with yourself. It helps you treat yourself better. And in that way, it helps you to set standards of how you expect others to treat you. Is so important because when you don't know your self-worth, you are willing to take anything others offers you. You are willing to tolerate any toxic relationship because you think that is where your worth comes from. You think your worth comes from people accepting you. You think your worth comes from the validation of others. But when you know that your worth comes from within and not anything outside of you and not what people say about you and not people's validation or acceptance of you, you're able to set standards, you're able to set boundaries and hold others up to it. Knowing your self-worth is so important because it helps you to define everything around you. Okay guys, so that is the little I have to share on knowing your self-worth from biblical point of view. So let me know in the comments what you learned from today's video. So I'm going to leave a bunch of scriptures that emphasizes our self-worth in the comments, so do look out for it. Also guys, don't forget to check out my other videos, and if you've not seen my video on my testimony how I got saved, I'm going to link it here, or I think here. Make sure after this video you go watch it. Tell me in the comments what you took away from this video and what would you like me to talk about next. Let me know in the comments as well. So guys, stay tuned to my next video on how to be your authentic self. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on your post notification so that you'll be the first person to know when I post videos. Also, don't forget to like this video and share with everyone, because all of us need to know that our self-worth comes from within. So that is it for today, guys. See you in my next video.